Welcome to Drinkin and Drivin. Here at Drinkin and Drivin, we'd like to remind you that drinking is fun and driving is fun. Just don't do them together. Have fun and be safe. Here's your host, Joe Yarbrough, and his co-host, David Tartaro.
Welcome to Drinkin and Drivin. My name's Wayne Campbell.
and with me always is Garth Algar.
No, I'm Joe, and once again, this is not Todd this time.
Yes, I'm not Todd.
Yeah, so Dave's back.
I'm the better Todd.
Apparently, with his new schedule, we can only do this on a weekend. So we had to, I don't know, hide your family somewhere.
You're saying new schedule, but what you mean is I'm not working at home with nothing to do. So having a job.
You know what? Let's not get into semantics. But yeah, we're here. We're actually at Dave's abode because right now we are going to interview a brewery that is pre-brewery. Where are we? We're not a brewery yet, but we're pre.
It's a brewery, but it's
a brewery,
not an official brewery.
But we don't have a location. But yeah, so we've got Kyle Lanke, who is the man, the myth, the legend, the brains, the brawn, all that good stuff behind Brass Knuckle Brewing.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
He just showed off some guns, and let me tell you, guns.
That's dangerous.
That's it.
I do not have a permit.
Well, it's open carry, so I don't know the Florida law for open carry.
Gotta love Florida.
I think if you're fishing, you're allowed to open carry.
I'm allowed to shoot him right now, I think, is what it means.
Stand your ground, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you're sitting, so I don't know how that works. Sit your ground? I don't know. Anyway, so of course you're going to hear plenty of my normal jackassery, and you're gonna get to hear Dave's jackassery and clearing of his throat and all this other good stuff. Exactly. But so Kyle, let's start off. Brass Knuckle. Why? Where? How?
Why? Because I've actually been playing trumpet since I was 11.
Really?
Yeah. So music's huge in my life. A lot of my beer is music inclined, music themed, that kind of deal. And I thought it was an interesting take because obviously you're not going to put a bugle on your hands and go wham on somebody.
Although you could.
You could.
Probably hurt your hand, though.
In Florida. But, you know, trumpets are made out of brass. Brass knuckles, it kind of just fit for me.
I love it, man. I used to play trombone. I'm big into anything with brass in it.
Nice.
Ska, I'm a big ska guy.
Well, my father-in-law is a trumpet player, so now I'll tell him that a trumpet player has opened this, and then he will invest on Mainvest, which we'll get into.
Yes, sir.
So we'll definitely get into that. So you said you've been playing trumpet since 11. Like, did you play like band, high school, or was
I
it
played in high school and then some college when I went to BCC when it was still BCC.
Beer can college.
Represent.
Yes, sir. And then just playing with some local youth groups when I can.
Okay.
Try to keep the music spirit alive and that kind of deal.
That's awesome,
dude. I mean, you talked about playing trombone. You played trumpet. I've never really played an instrument, and honestly, I can honestly say that at this point in my life, I'm actually sad that I never played an instrument.
Well, it's not like you're dying in a week. You can still learn how to play an instrument.
Yeah, but then I'm going to be there with like the other 6-year-olds who've never played an instrument.
Go to an elementary school and play it. You probably get arrested.
But that's like,
well, if it makes you feel better, I can't whistle. Which is
really not whistle?
Cruel joke.
In no way, shape, or form.
Can't do it at all.
So he whistles with the trumpet instead.
Yep.
I like it.
So other people are like,
very loud.
Like I'm raking leaves, and he's raking leaves.
It's a lot more work for me. It's way more effort.
Well, plus you got to. What are you gonna play with one hand and rake with one hand?
Oh yeah.
And how are you holding the beer? Grow a third arm, obviously. I mean,
you get the helmet.
There's helmets.
Oh, the helmets.
Yeah, helmets for that.
Smart. So would you say you're any good at playing the trumpet? I mean, objectively, like, are you?
Oh, well, that's a hard question because
that's why
all the trumpet players have such a big ego, and I'm just not trying to be one of those guys, but I'm decent.
Yeah.
I'm not Dizzy Gillespie or nothing.
Have you ever been to open mics?
Yeah.
You know about open mics? Have you played?
It's not there anymore.
Oh,
it's a coffee.
It's Apocalypse now. Yeah.
Well, it was
coffee.
Oh no, are you serious? They're not doing that. That sucks.
No, they don't do that anymore.
Did you ever go? Did you ever play there when they were doing it? Oh man, I love going there, and they would do a jazz night, and you get all these brass players coming up playing, all kinds of stuff. There was a guy that would always come with trombone. It was awesome.
I mean, not to toot his own horn, but he's pretty good. on the table.
There it is.
There you go. I'll have to edit out that gung gung. That'll literally sound like two cars crashing. That it'll sound like somebody just wrestled someone else to the ground. Like the cops just came in and wrestled us to the ground. I honestly didn't notice till you mentioned it, the actual mouthpiece on the brass knuckles. So like to me that's actually pretty clever. I mean
I really like
I was like I don't understand the brass nut, but now I understand. So it actually has meaning, not just I don't know, Melbourne Brew Co. I don't think I prefer a name that is specifically tied to an area because then what if you move? What if something happens?
Well, unless you have a name that's tied to the area that's not obvious. Like Hell and Blazes is a great one because if they became huge, nobody would even think that it was tied to a thing locally. They'd just be like, oh,
but if it was like downtown Melbourne Brewery, you'd be like, hey, guess what? We're moving to Titusville, downtown Melbourne. Woo woo! Like what? So
I'm confused.
Like I drove by downtown Melbourne. I did not see a brewery there. Oh, because they're located in Titusville. What the hell, man?
They actually brew out of California.
We're actually owned by InBev, so there you go. Yeah. So we talked a little bit beforehand, kind of got a little feel, but for everyone who wasn't talking to you beforehand, how long you been brewing? How'd that all get started?
Well, I've been home brewing for 6 years. Started off pretty much how everyone does at the stove, dancing kettle because it gets too hot and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I started giving people samples of my beer, and people really liked it, started gravitating towards it, and I started giving out more samples and different extract styles at first, and then I transitioned slowly into all grain, and it's been a pretty fun ride so far.
Do you remember your first extract that you had? That you made? I mean, not had.
Yes. It was a Canadian ale.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, right. I was like, what makes it Canadian?
I got
Is that like Molson? Yeah.
Those are lagers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What's a Canadian ale?
I just kept looking for like some kind of maple syrup in the box, and I couldn't find any. So I was like, this just feels like a regular beer.
It was just just came with a hockey puck. You're supposed
to
throw it in during
I don't get it. I mean, just throw a puck in the kettle. Why did it melt?
It's very rubbery. Was it good though?
It turned out good.
Yeah.
And obviously, first beer didn't have high hopes, but it did well. And then I slowly transitioned into partial extract, partial grain steeping.
Yeah.
And the second one I did a lot better. It was a roasted smoky porter.
Ooh, cool.
And people drank that up quick.
Did it come with pre-smoked ingredients?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Smoked,
that's really cool.
Smoked specialty malts.
So was that what? So like it came with the extract, and then that's where you got your. Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, I did one of those. I don't even remember what it was now anymore, but it was the same kind of thing because I wanted a darker color. It came with like pre-roasted.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was an early thing. But
I love anything smoky. So
see him in a smoky room, smell the wine and cheap perfume.
I was about to say, waiting for a dumb joke from Joe.
No,
it was like a clear setup for something.
There was I like it smoky. And back to you, Joe.
Exactly.
So of course, you start with the extract, and then when you went all grain, what was your first all grain, and what did we make all grain? What was our first one?
I went with a German Hefeweizen first.
Ooh.
And that German Hefeweizen did so well that I just kept brewing it, and it became one of my 4 core beers that I hope to open with.
Okay.
Treble Hef.
So when you did that first all grain brew, was that your own recipe at that point? Cool. That's
researched a ton of recipes online, saw the ratios, what I could do, and I was like, well, I'm not going to do these exact numbers because I'm trying to do my own thing, and I tweaked it here and there, and then eventually got to a point where I was giving out samples, and I felt really proud of the work that I did.
That's great. Did you evolve the recipe, or was it pretty like head
There
on?
were some minor changes. Like I was so close the first time.
Wow.
And then the second and third time I just tweaked it slightly and then just kept it there.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So how many times have you roughly, obviously I don't want to know dates and times, but how many times have you brewed this particular one now?
The Treble Hef I brewed like 6 times.
Okay.
Treble Hef, that's awesome.
I like that.
Treble Hef.
That is really cool.
Mm-hmm. And so have you had a beer that, so this is going to be a core beer. This is like opening day. We're going to have some Treble Hef.
It's going to be on tap.
On tap. Nice.
Day we open till the day we never close.
Did you bring some of that today?
No. Yeah, that was a big lead up. Yeah. So
It is the best
I
beer.
can't wait.
it's
So
the
what
best
we
one I
drinking?
make.
It's the best beer
No.
I've ever made, and you'll never have it.
I'm saving that for when I can get an adequate temperature control. I've had to change living situations a couple times, and I can't get it the exact, like I'm a perfectionist. So if I can't get something the exact way that I want to get it, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you want that consistency for sure.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, it totally makes sense. So now, what's the one you've made that has? There's always got to be one that just didn't go the way you expected.
Oof.
Oh, is the list that long? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Let me read it off to you.
There was
Just starts barking them out.
there was just this one recently where I tried to add some chili peppers
Okay,
to it because some other breweries around town
sure.
do really well with pepper beers, and I was like, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
And
They're popular,
so
man, people love that stuff.
love it, but I did not get the pepper to liquid ratio correct,
Uh-oh.
and it just set your mouth on fire, and it was not drinkable.
Way too spicy.
Way-
Damn it.
It's coming though. It's coming.
Yeah.
I know. I
That's
think
a tough-
I'm
that's a tough
zeroing
beer.
in on it.
I mean,
Yeah.
for it to be some, I mean, if you were like, I was just trying to make a Pilsner and I totally messed it up, that's weak sauce right there. But like, yes, I'm trying to make, I'm in the deep end of the pool and I had an issue. That's totally understandable to be like, yeah, I over peppered this pepper beer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, you totally understand.
I mean,
that.
even when you have a good finished product that somebody's offering to you, there's usually always, and of course, it's always comes down to preference, but there's always, it's very rare that you find one that's balanced perfectly, and when you do, it's fantastic. I mean, those are awesome beers. When we did Crane Creek, one of our most popular ones was our what was it, mango habanero, and our brewer Matt, he freaking nailed it, and that's why it was so good. I mean, that's why it was so popular. The balance was just exactly what you want.
It seems to be a good combination that people go together. The mango habanero, you get that little bit of sweet, of. That's like even like you can find like a sauce. You can go to the grocery store and find like a mango habanero hot
it's a good
sauce.
combo.
Like
It really is.
those work.
Well, plus in Florida,
So write that up. Take notes.
Right,
I
right.
find some.
Mental notes.
He's taking notes.
Mental notes.
Dude, you
here.
find somebody with a mango tree on their property, and it could like do 400 gallons of beer with it too, because they grow so many mangoes.
mango.
And you got low overhead.
It's insane how many mangoes you get.
I mean, there's a big thing too. I mean, if you can just like start picking people's fruit, be like, guess what? I'm making this.
Dude, everyone's always giving away
Locally
mangoes.
sourced, right?
No,
Oh my
nobody
god!
can
Exactly.
eat them
It's
all,
about
so,
as
yeah.
like I'm a local brewery making locally sourced everything.
Well, what you do is you say, hey, if you can bring me enough mangoes where I can make this beer, you get to drink that beer for free the entire time until it runs out.
Or you get the first one.
You get one beer free.
First beer of the day.
But the first one. I'm not even going to taste it. You get to taste it first.
So you said that you have 4 core beers. How many recipes have you? I'm sure it's hard to even keep track of, but how many recipes do you have that you feel like you're going to kind of try to work into your lineup?
I've designed about 55.
Dang,
so far.
55? Wow.
So far. And I've been told I work a little backwards because I'll think of an idea for a beer. I'll think of a name, what it could be, and then I'll start diving into what the ingredients could be and that kind of thing. Instead of get the ingredients, brew the beer, and then name it.
Yeah, once it comes out good. So do you actually
So-
have names for all 55 of these beers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I have,
you have it all
I
written
have
down in the
a
book.
whole Excel spreadsheet on my computer, and there's a lot more than 55 in the name section on my phone, and I can show that to you.
There's no way you have 55
Design.
music puns
Designed.
though. Are they all music puns?
Not all of them.
Is
I have.
Because
Is there one called-
I've only heard one so far.
Is there a
It's
music pun one
fantastic.
called the
Thanks.
brown note? It's
That's
like
taken.
it's like a nut brown.
That's taken.
The brown note.
Taken, yeah, that's taken. Yeah, I know that.
He's
'cause
looked it up.
It's it was taken by ATG Brewing.
Dang
What's
it,
ATG
man.
Brewing?
I have no idea, but they took it. And you can actually find that beer at the mansion. I looked. I saw it.
No way,
Yeah.
really?
There's a dude
Yeah, I want to see this
in his
list.
undies. Yeah.
There's a dude in his undies.
The brown note. There's actually one. Remember
Oh
that
my
one I showed
god!
you?
I know exactly what you're talking about. My sister just had it in a can. Hold on.
Yeah, it's in a can. It's like a tall boy.
And it's this disgusting looking
terrible
artwork.
Disgusting.
But she said it was
I'm
really
surprised
good.
that people bought it.
That's so funny that you even brought that up because
There's a brewery in St. Louis area that has one called Velvet Underbrown, and that was a really good brown. So
so gross.
that was just, but the Velvet Underbrown. I mean, that's
Oh,
it's
and
music and all that stuff. Yeah.
ATG. Sorry, I'm totally cutting you. ATG against the grain.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
There
that's
it is.
it.
Yep.
That
She
would
sent me
be.
a
That's
picture.
it.
Folks at home, look it up. Against the grain.
Oh,
brown note.
that's actually pretty gross.
So funny. Dude, it was just like yesterday or something she sent me that. What are the chances?
All right, so do you want to see the ones that I've designed, or do you just want to see the whole list?
I want to see the whole list. I want to see
All right,
what good puns are in there.
All right, buddy.
Is this okay? Reading some of
this
them
is
out loud?
Totally fine.
People better not steal them.
So take in mind that this list
It's so good.
This list started 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. So obviously some of them are not that great, and some of them are taken by other breweries.
Yeah.
But just start there and then work your way down.
Let's see.
Well,
You're asking some questions.
Well, that's the
about
way,
this.
like the brown note. Like, I didn't know anything about the beer, but that's one of those things.
Every time I have a beer idea, that's what I pull up immediately.
I'm really ready for it. I'm already crying.
Immediately.
Hop goes the weasel. Hop's the magic dragon. Those have to be taken, those two.
Probably the dragon one. No, but
the weasel is nice.
As soon as I have a beer idea,
B-flat blues ale. I like that.
hit
It's
that.
really cool.
That's going to be a blueberry wheat.
Ooh, nice.
There's no way hopscotch isn't taken because that's
There's no
too
way.
awesome of a name.
Scotch ale. A little
Maybe
hoppy.
it's not, though.
Or maybe it is.
Part of my process is when I'm picking a name to finalize it, I check Untapped.
Yeah.
Yep, best way to do it
Check
because everything's
Untapped
pretty
real
much
quick.
on there.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, honestly, you say you do it backwards, but that's kind of the way my brain works. Is I always come up with some stupid dad joke, and I'm like, does that exist? So, even though they already exist, I feel like it's a good thing. Like, I almost invented something that already existed, but I did it independently, so it's not like I stole from whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, I still give myself an A for my creativity on that. All right, let's hear him. Let's hear it.
Yeah, he's going nuts.
Let's
This
hear
is
it.
so good. I
Yeah.
love puns so much.
Thank
You have
you.
no idea. All right. I'm going to read some of these.
Yeah.
Bruise Brothers has to be taken.
Has to be.
Will Wheaton.
Will
And he
Wheaton.
bruised
Will Wheaton.
too, so
Yeah.
there's no way you could use that name.
No.
Hop's father's funny. Let's see.
You're still really early in that list.
Shake your ale feather. That one's really good.
Check it, feather.
Hobgoblin Assassin's Mead made me laugh.
But the problem with Assassin's Mead is you have to get like a special license to make mead,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's a different licensing.
Yeah,
'Cause
so there you
it's
go.
a different fermentation process.
So now you've got to pay all this extra money.
And I was kind of hoping that Quarters was going to do that. Like, I was like, hey guys, Assassin's Mead.
Assassin's Mead makes sense, especially Quarters was a
Porky
arcade.
Balboa.
You know, I mean that kind of makes sense.
What is Porky Balboa? What's that?
That's going to be a bacon infused
Dude.
or bacon smoky beer.
Love it.
I'm a huge
that's
Rocky
cool.
fan. If you were to sit me down in front of a TV and tell me that, hey Kyle, there's a Rocky Balboa marathon, I'm not going to leave the couch. I'll just watch all of them except for number 5. That one doesn't count. No one talks about Rocky 5.
And you know how he never has to get up? Depends.
Oh,
Dun-dun. So stupid. Dude, you ever listen to the Dropkick Murphys at all?
all the time.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They've got one of their songs is I'm going off on a huge tangent here. What is the name of the song? Seriously. What is it called? Seriously something dudes. Sensitive. Seriously sensitive dudes. You know that song?
No.
There's a line in that song. I don't know why I think this is so funny. He goes, the whole song is about like they're tough guys, but they're sensitive, you know, and they say something about how I'm not ashamed that I cried when Mickey died in Rocky 2, but he didn't die in Rocky 2. He died in Rocky 3. So, but they like completely were aware of it, but it
Yeah.
didn't rhyme, so they just changed it anyway.
Well, you know what?
I thought that was funny.
you, you dumb son of a Mickey.
Hail Caesar.
Pale Caesar. Is it Pale Caesar?
Vlad the IPA or Vlad the
Yeah.
That's
So when
awesome.
I was developing the garlic beer, one of the ideas I was going with was Vlad the IPA ailer.
I like it.
I like
So what? Let's go. You know, we haven't said this on air. Let's go to this one. The specifically this.
Sorry, wait, I'm sorry. I'm totally rooting your question. This one's too funny though. General Akbar.
It's trap. It's on tap.
Crap. It's
on tap. Oh, that's good. I'm not gonna lie.
So
you know
perfect.
what? You have to put that there.
Dude, that one has to be one of the ones you do. Sorry,
it's on
go ahead.
tap.
I'm gonna
so
try
this
not to
so this
laugh
garlic
while I
beer.
read
Let's talk about this beer because I mean it's a very interesting concept. I want to know everything about this garlic beer that you've mentioned.
Well, alrighty. So part of my personality, I guess, is when someone tells me I cannot do something, is when I become almost overly confident and motivated to do that thing. My belief in brewing is you have to have a fine line and balance between experimental brewing and traditional brewing. So I'll brew the Hefeweizens, I'll brew things that are traditional brewing, and then, for example, the garlic beer. Do you really go places and there's a garlic beer on tap?
All the time.
All the time.
Oh my gosh, I can't even count on zero hands.
Honestly, I'm getting kind of sick of that trend. It's just getting over the top.
Right up there with hazies, right?
Yeah, hazy.
Right up there with the
garlic
hazies.
beers. It's like that's all anybody
man.
ever wants.
That's
The
a
old
bummer. I thought I was-
GIPA, that's my favorite. No, yeah, honestly, I don't know.
A Gippa.
A Gippa.
Gippas
Save
and
one for the Gippa.
The Gippa.
Yeah, I've never heard of anyone doing a garlic. Well, I almost said IPA, but a garlic beer. But what kind of beer is it? What's up with this?
So the garlic was based off of an amber recipe, and me and my best friend brewed it over in Denver, and I have had a lot of good reviews about it. We made sure not to use too much garlic, and it's definitely not a date beer. If you're trying to go out on a date, don't drink this beer because unless she's like really into garlic, man. Like,
So no,
don't do it.
this is no smooch at the end of the night. Garlic beer.
Unless she's just really into garlic.
I mean, you know what? Just go to Olive Garden or a place like I don't know good Italian food.
One of them.
I stay at home most of the time anyway. But yeah, so this garlic beer. I mean, like when do you add the garlic? I mean, are you
in the boil.
You add it in the boil.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I considered it, I was like, well, do we want to put it in secondary? And I was like, no, it's gonna be too hard to, clean, make sure it's not gonna get infected. So I was like, well, you know what?
I guess you do have to put it in the boil. Yeah.
Garlic's a nice spice or vegetation.
Yeah.
So I consider it like a hop. Every time I added a hop, I added the garlic.
Okay. There you go.
So there were 3 hop additions and 3 garlic additions to that beer.
Wow. And I mean, so in your mind, just remember we can't taste this over the air.
Mm-hmm.
When would you drink this beer? What's the kind of where do you say, you know what, there is a place for a garlic beer, and here's that place?
Every brewery in America.
Every restaurant should have.
Everyone
my
should
beer on
have
tap.
it.
Yeah.
No, it's just one of those beers that, I like going out, and if I go to a brewery and they have an experimental brew on tap, this is my automatic first beer of the day.
So maybe that now you talk about an experimental. Maybe that just when you open up, maybe that you'll just be like, we've got our core beers, but then you specifically have experimental beer of the month, the week, whatever. Like specifically be like, this is research and development. And I'll even tell you, one of my earlier episodes was in St. Louis. What they did is they actually owned the location they were in, but then they bought the building across the street, like just across the street. And so it was like, here's their main brewery, and then they had this tiny R&D. And everything in there, they had like pizza in there. They had food and stuff in there, like you could hang out there, but it didn't feature any of their main beers. It was literally just research and development. And maybe it was maybe it was $1 cheaper per pint or something. I don't know what the catch was, but people would go over there and chill out in that place and not go into the main brewery and just hang out there. And they, via the phone, they'd put in, they'd go into their little rating app or whatever, and they would rate the beer and put comments and all that stuff. So like literally they had an external research and development team paying for their beer and saying, so I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, that's freaking genius, man. Like what? You've got your built-in, because of course you've got your people who work there and, the people who make the beer and all that stuff. And they, of course, have their input. But then if you're going to run dry, you just, you know what? I'm just going to throw out a garlic beer. See what people think. If it's a home run, grand slam, great. I'm going to make it all the time. Or, you know what? People hate it. Okay, I won't never make that beer again.
Cross that right off the list.
Exactly. I was like, oh my gosh. So, but they literally built a location, and people are paying, instead of paying a person or group of people to do some sort of R&D, they just have people
do it themselves.
They have people paying them to do research and development. I just thought that was genius. I was like, it's like you come in, pints are $1 cheaper here or whatever, cool. And you drink there, you're like, that one's a little too sour, and then you put it on the app, and now you've got some really good feedback. If you get a good enough sample group, you got this huge thing of feedback, and they paid you for the privilege to rate your beer. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, how is I was in awe when I saw that that's what they did. I was like, are you serious? Like, people pay you to do research and development. I just thought that was great.
It's just good business, is what it is.
I believe that's pronounced bidness. Bidness.
I wanted to read a bunch more. I just read through I didn't even get through the whole thing. the
yeah.
names, but I
He's over here giggling.
Yeah, he's been laughing like the whole time.
I've been like holding my mouth. They're too good. Like I feel like if I read them on the air, people are gonna take them. They're just too. There's too many good ones.
And we can't have people stealing because stealing's wrong. I've been told.
Okay.
Stealing is wrong. We talked about Mainvest. I literally said the name and that's it. But Mainvest, I know, is how you're doing some of the funding for here. Let me know about Mainvest. What is Mainvest? I've never heard of it. So pretend I've never heard of it. Give me the Mainvest spiel. Yeah.
All right. So Mainvest is an investing platform where a business presents a business idea, and you set a goal, a minimum goal and a maximum goal. So my minimum goal for opening the brewery is $50,000. And I approach people and I talk to people and tell them, hey, here's my business plan, here's what I'm doing to achieve this goal, and here's how I'm going to generate revenue once that goal is achieved. And they will invest X amount of dollars into Mainvest. The early investors are going to get $1.7
million.
million.
Oh, sorry, no. What?
Crazy. Beer's that expensive.
It's a good return.
Yeah. So it's a multiplier. So, for example, the person who invests $100 will get $170 back in X amount of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
By the way, I have to mention I am an early investor.
my man.
So, pew pew. Show me the money.
I plan on being one.
Oh, he's definitely
but I haven't secured the fund.
You know
yet.
what? Forget show me the money. Show me the
I
beers.
think I'm convincing him with the beer names.
Oh my God.
I think he's fully invested
I've
now.
tripled the amount I was planning on main investing just from beer names.
By the way, it's MAIN.
Mainvest. Yeah.
Mainvest.
MAIN Vest.
I think it's really cool. I mean, I've been big into stock trading this past year, which everyone should have been. In hindsight, if you didn't, then you're an idiot. But no
I
offense.
just keep mine in a mattress.
That's stupid. But what I like about this is, I mean, you're investing in Apple or whatever. I mean, a lot of the products that you invest or the companies you invest in, you have a connection with them where you're like, well, I like these products. But it's different when it's something local. I mean, this is really cool. It's almost like buying stock in a local business that you can literally go to. You can meet the people who are running the place. I mean, it's Main Street. You know?
Plus,
I mean, I think it's really cool.
Well, plus
it's a
with
great
Apple,
idea.
you'd be like, hey, I own one share of Apple. Give me a free iPhone. They'll be like, hey, here's my middle finger. Get out.
Well, I really wish I didn't use them as an example because I've never bought their stock and I hate Apple as a company.
Well, it's really weird
It's just
because
the first thing that popped in my head.
it's funny because I've made literally thousands of dollars just on my own buying and selling. That has nothing to do with my
Job that you
IRAs.
had?
Yeah, exactly. Has nothing to do with
You work
having
for
been
them?
paid by them for working for. Yeah, but no, I mean, just specifically Apple.
Yeah,
Since
yeah.
you said it, it's like it's nameless, faceless, all this kind of stuff. Heartless,
It
dickless, thoughtless. No, that was from
hell's that from?
Christmas Vacation. When he's angry, heartless, thoughtless. Yeah, but no, I mean they're just this. They're in the cloud.
There's no face. There's
Exactly.
no face to those companies.
Yeah, but then you get a local business. So you get a guy. By the way, where were you born?
Melbourne, Florida.
Oh, look at that.
Born and raised.
And where do you live now?
Palm Bay, Florida.
Wow.
About 15 minutes south.
So what I'm
Close
Close enough. Basically, Melbourne's.
what I'm hearing is if you're from Melbourne, Palm Bay. Yeah, wait a mess that one up.
Brevard.
No, but if you're from
Should have went the county route. Damn it.
Damn it.
Brevard County. Yeah, but yeah. So this guy is here. He's done everything in his life. He's a local guy. He's
CC,
from here.
baby.
He went to
BCC.
Beer Can College, man. So I mean, he is a local guy, and he is trying to use his efforts to instill more. Just put more into the local community.
Build into the community.
So it's
Absolutely.
like how can you not support a guy who's doing that? Like literally, there's no downside to supporting a guy who's making a product that you can. I mean, if he was, I don't know, selling T-shirts that say like "Who farted" or something ridiculous, it's like, so what? Who cares? But you know how many gallons of beer are consumed in America every day, David?
7.
7. There you go. No, I have no idea, but I mean, it's got to be like a lot of gallons.
Yeah, but don't a lot of people wear T-shirts a day too, though?
I mean,
I'm just going with
I'm not. I'm wearing a
Let's
button.
go with your
7
example.
gallons of t-shirts.
I would
7 gallons.
I would say at best 2/3 of people wear a T-shirt because this is a button-up. So I don't know, but I mean, like really, the amount of beer consumed. Why would you give it to some nameless, faceless behemoth of a company
The InBevs.
when you can? And and there is nothing wrong with being at the top of your game. Like to be, what? If I was, I don't know, the best. I don't even know. Best podcaster in the world. I'm like right behind some of the big guys, but whatever.
You're basically Joe Rogan.
It's like a 10 trillion way tie for second place or whatever. But like ridiculous. But I mean, if I had the best podcast, and you'd be like, well, he sold out. He's the best at what now? He made it. So what? But there's no crime on being gigantic. I can't fault InBev for wanting to be InBev because
their problem isn't that they're big; it's that they suck.
Right. Well,
but
that's not their
different
problem.
conversation.
That's everybody else's problem for buying their product.
You're absolutely right.
That's their fault. But they know what their niche is, and because I wouldn't say they're not competition to the little guys, but the thing is, they don't even try to make the same beer because their market is a very specific group of people who are not in the know. They don't really know anything about beer. And they've only had Budweisers from the first beer they had to the last beer they'll have when they die. So they have a very select market. I know that market share is shrinking because people are starting to become more aware of their beer options. But in the end, you can't. They know what their niche is and they do it very well. I mean, you can't tell me that with their technology and their everything, they can't make the best IPA you've ever had in your life. You can't tell me that they don't have they have the technology. They can build it better, faster, stronger. They can do it. Are they going to? No.
They don't want to do it.
Exactly, because it does. That's not their niche.
Well, the thing is even if they made the best IPA that you can possibly have, people wouldn't want to buy it. They would feel guilty buying it.
Maybe
because the group of people who would drink a beer like that aren't wanting to buy into that sort of a thing.
Sure. No, and that's kind of an ideology kind of thing. But I mean, like literally, they could literally make all of the best, like, not even subjectively. They could probably scientifically prove that theirs is the best.
Science.
Exactly. They could science it up and make the best of every style beer. But then it's like, so what? For them, they're like, we make more money off of our easy, cheap rice beer. Budweiser. It's just got a bunch of rice in it. But whatever. But so, long story short, support your local guys is really what I'm saying.
It's a really weird sales pitch. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I nailed that.
Nailed it.
You can't handle the truth. I know. That's what I do. I go off on my little tangent. It happens. We all do that. But you've got yourself here. If you're a Brevard County resident, you do have a lot of good choices in our town and our area. We can support, I would say, many more breweries. I think where we're at right now in Brevard County,
it's gotten so good. Yeah,
it's like right now, South Brevard, I'll say Cocoa and below, like we're doing good. Like
Brevard has become a major brewing area for Florida
and
in general.
Let's just be a destination
bigger than most other areas.
Like why not make Brevard, even South Brevard, because that's where I live and gas is getting more expensive. Let's make South Brevard a beer destination. And
so there's another question, right? Where exactly are you planning on opening?
So originally I planned on opening in Palm Bay.
Yeah.
Because I mapped out Brevard County, and you have all these breweries that are Melbourne and north, but you don't have anything going from Melbourne down to Paradolia down in Sebastian, and Mash Monkey down in Sebastian.
Yeah, there's a big gap there.
So
for sure.
The gap of Palm Bay, the region of Palm Bay is huge gap. And,
I don't know if I'd go to Grant or anything, because I feel like that's still too sparse, but...
Well, people out in Grant brew their own beer because they live on 600-acre properties.
Exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if we heard of like a farmhouse brewery opening up in secret over in Grant someday.
Exactly.
But no, I originally planned on opening in Palm Bay.
Plus, the property's probably less expensive, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
And every time I reached out to somebody, it was like, oh, no, we're not able to lease to you, or da-da-da-da. And, or they just didn't get that back to me at all. And I was like, okay, well, let's just go back up to Melbourne, because...
Welcome to my world of doing this show, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it took some doing to try and find a location, because you take into a lot of things into consideration. You got traffic, how easy is it to get in the parking lot,
Yeah.
That's important.
Yep.
For me personally, I hate parking lots.
Yeah, listen to our.
I've avoided tons of places.
Do you remember?
Because it was too much.
Yeah, speaking of parking lot, but I mean specifically talking about the parking lot. You remember when we went to Playa Linda and we talked to Ron Rake and he talked about like the whole experience of going to a brewery starts when you get into the parking lot.
Yeah, yep.
I was like, oh my gosh, like
it does.
Totally true.
It starts at the parking lot.
It's good insight. It really
Listen
is.
to me name dropping, like, oh, when I went to this brewery and I talked to this guy.
Local name drops.
Yeah, like,
Locals.
That means literally nothing outside of our area. But you know what? I'm still going to take it. It was a name drop. It's fine.
No, but yeah, those were things to consider. Just like how busy was the road? Is it 95 adjacent? Is it just XYZ? Like, where am I going to be able to put my location to where it's going to generate the most traffic and people and be the most convenient for people to get in and out of, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we've all been to breweries where we'll go out of our way to go to a brewery just because of the quality of their beer.
But it'd be nice if you didn't.
It would be nice if you didn't have to
go out of your way.
Honestly,
get in a
it's
street
like
fight for a parking spot.
Beachfly's old spot. It was a cool location in the sense that it's right near the beach and all this stuff, but it was a pain in the butt to get into the parking lot.
Their parking lot was like
Such a pain.
It was like the movie Labyrinth.
It was. It was awful. And I'm only openly saying this because they're no longer in that location, which is good.
Bro, I went to their new location. Not finished yet, but it's going to be amazing.
Cool. That's
Except
good.
it's in
for them, man,
Rockledge.
because that's a great place.
Except it's in Rockledge, which is further from me. But you know what? I'll take the hit.
Well, it's like you said, Kyle, like North
guys
Brevard,
right
man. That's where all the cool kids are.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's like I want to see more stuff happening down,
that's
in our neck of the woods. So
that was my goal. Yeah.
So do you have an actual place picked out?
I have a contingent spot.
Are you able to say where it is?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, but it's in the works.
Cool.
And
so, given a region, so from like Vieira to Fellsmere, where are we, or is it north of that even? Where are we?
So back to the BCC thing. It's pretty much, where the Melbourne BCC is?
Yeah.
Real close to that.
Oh
Okay.
man, that'd be awesome. I'm there.
Real
close to
Dude,
college
my
kids?
my kids go to Sherwood Elementary. I could drop them off at
Drop 'em
school
off, come
and
have a beer.
drink a bunch.
Yeah.
Hammered.
That would be really cool, man.
Come
I like
hang out.
that.
Yeah.
And that's funny because Melbourne is like kind of the heart. I feel like Melbourne's sort of the heart of Brevard, right? I mean, it's a big city, and you go from Vieira down to Palm Bay, and the number of breweries that you hit down Wickham, which is the main thoroughfare, is nothing. There was Lost Shirt was the only real one, right? You got to go out to Hell and Blazes, or you got to go out to Intercoastal US
Jake's. Charlie and Jake's.
That's it.
So he's going to be even closer than Charlie and Jake's. Like, I don't even make it to Charlie and Jake's often because sometimes going up Wickham is kind of a pain, just the road.
Depends on the hour.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I'm anywhere near Charlie and Jake's, and I'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna go to Charlie and Jake's.
I do like Charlie and Jake's.
Like if I'm just hanging out at like Dave's mom's house,
which is right next to.
Which that's it. I went there that one time, so I know that she's near.
Weirdo.
That's all I know. Why am I hanging out? I don't know, because she freestyles. I don't know.
No, seriously.
Sometimes that's just reason enough.
You know what? If your mom did freestyle, maybe we would hang out there all the time.
It'd be really weird. It's does not fit her personality at all. But yeah, anywhere south of Charlie and Jake's, it's like the further south you go, the more there's a need for that.
Agreed.
It's going to be really, really useful having a brewery.
Yeah, there's also this new development happening down south of Malabar. Emerald Lakes, I guess they're just breaking ground on it.
So. Oh yeah, that's where they put in a new 95 exit. Did you know that? South of Grant Road.
Thank God, because if you pass Malabar,
you got to go to
like
Sebastian.
600 miles before you can turn around.
Like, oh crap, I missed the exit. Looks like I'm going to Sebastian today.
Yeah,
which is in another county, by the way.
See you in 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, out here too, right past my neighborhood here. I'm near 95 and
right over here on the west
and 192.
West side of,
they're building a whole
95.
big thing out there too. Yeah, man, if they open a brewery in that, it's supposed to be like a new avenue kind of thing. That'd be pretty sick. So do that. You should do that.
Yes.
Build
brewing.
Do that.
Do brewing.
Do brewing.
Do some brewing.
Most of my business structure is centered around Brevard County. I was born here, raised here. The things that I'm going to do with my business are going to help the community. I want to do things like adoption events for the animal shelter.
Nice.
Keep people active with yoga seems to be really popular at breweries, so that every now and then.
Yoga and cycling.
A cycle group. I have a cycle thing going on.
Nice.
just things that I can give back to the community with, and kind of build up Brevard.
Nice. There you
I
go.
like it.
So this is a man who is from here, local, and he wants to give back to the local community.
So if you don't invest, then you're an ass.
I mean, I don't want to be that guy to say that, but you know what? I didn't say that. Dave said it,
I stand by it.
and he stands by it.
Car accident.
And also has a car accident on the table near the microphones. but I don't know. I think it makes sense. Like, why not? This guy is doing local stuff. Help him out. I mean, and the best part is you can be like, you know what? I'm helping a small business out, but really you're helping yourself out, because I did the ROI with his 1.7, and it's not a bad return on investment.
No, it's not. It's awesome.
But I mean, like, it's not like, a 70% in 1 year. So it's not 1 year, but over a few years, it's still a very good return on investment. Like,
but the thing is, it's like you're going to make money and you're going to feel good about making the money.
Exactly. You're not giving.
And then when you go to this place, you help build it. I mean, it's really a cool thing.
You make. Look, you see that bar stool there? I paid for that. I'm just saying, bro.
Names underneath it.
I paid for one leg on that bar stool.
Exactly.
My $12 that Main invested.
But yeah, Mainvest. MAINVEST.
Yep.
Right?
Do it.
Yes, sir.
Main
And I
invest.
can't stress this enough. Every dollar that's been put into it and every dollar that people have helped me along the way is very much appreciated. I've sat down and had lengthy conversations with investors. I've gone out and late nights just talking to people, and every dollar's been very appreciated.
And it's great. I mean, it's not like what are those websites called where you just get free money and people just give you
like
Kickstarter?
Kickstarter. It's not like a Kickstarter. It's not like you're just donating money.
It's like,
someone's making money off of the money you donate.
give me $100 and you get a T-shirt.
It's an investment.
No, give me $100 and you get $170
It's a
back.
business transaction.
It's
win-win to me. Yeah.
I don't put my money where my mouth is because money's dirty, but I do put my beer where my mouth
Especially
is.
during these times.
Exactly. I don't want no COVID because of the money in my mouth.
Money.
But yeah, put your beer where your mouth is and pull out your wallet and go to Mainvest. And I'll put a link on Facebook so you can go ahead and put me in there. And if you use the link, you also get $20 to invest how you like. So you can put $20 towards this
Brass
brewery.
Knuckle Brewing, yeah.
Brass Knuckle Brewing.
There you go.
Boom.
Like
Here's a question I've always wondered. So you'll go to a brewery and it'll be like, Helen Bays Brewing, such and such Brew Co., such and such. Ale Works, or like, how does one decide? Is like Brass Knuckle Ale Works, Brass Knuckle Brew Co.? Like, how do you choose your nomenclature on that one? Like, what's?
Okay, so for me, it was all about syllables. Because originally, I was just going to have Brass Knuckle Brewing.
Okay.
And then I had to get really specific with the LLC. So when I went to file for the LLC, I was like, okay, well, I got to be really a little bit more specific. Wait, so that's why I tacked on
it's gonna be permanent when you do this
company.
too.
Yeah. So to file with the state for the LLC, that's what I chose to go with.
So it's brewing company.
Yeah.
Brewing Company, Federal Reserve LLC.com.
Not a member of the FDIC. No.
I had this idea when we were trying to figure out a name for Crane Creek, and it was so stupid. I was like, make it as unbelievably corporate sounding as possible. So I had like 6 or 7 different words, and it was like corporation, this and that, industrial, blah blah blah.
Brew Co.
It almost sounded like we produce steel or something. It was so funny. I actually really liked it, but
Brew Co. Incorporated Mill. I don't know.
beer mill.
Patent pending.
Oh, speaking, we talked a little bit offline about that in Egypt where they found like this, and leave it to a random news organization. I don't even remember which one right now, but they were like, ancient beer factory found in Egypt. I was like, come on, beer factory. You don't know the word brewery, man? Like, come on. Like, shut up. Ancient beer factory found in Egypt. Like,
Right after the Industrial Revolution.
like,
built this
come on.
factory.
Like, you have to do at least this much research. You have to know the word brewery. Am I wrong here? But like, beer factory.
You like beer? No, I hate it.
I mean,
you're gonna write this article.
Exactly. Like,
Okay.
ancient beer factory. And it said InBev on some of the clay
Oh.
pots. Look at that. I mean, that's what, when I hear beer factory, I think like they're distributing across the world.
Some of these ancient breweries were kind of like they They brewed a lot of beer.
But the known, like even if they did distribute and they didn't use the 2-tier system like we have down here, even if they did 3-tier. Sorry, did I say? Sorry, I was missing a finger. But yeah, even if they don't use a system like that, like where were they going, like 100 miles max in any direction?
No, dude, you'd be surprised, man. I don't want to get into the history here. But if you wanted to get into that, you can check out my podcast, The Beer History Podcast.
Where can I find the Beer History Podcast?
TheBeerHistoryPodcast.com.
And how many episodes can I listen to if I go right now?
You should hopefully. When are you airing this? 6 months from now?
Okay, so
right now you can watch them on Spotify or YouTube video podcast. Yeah. But it's not on the air yet, as the time of this recording. But point is, though, a lot of these ancient cultures, they literally had these massive industries with beer. They would ship beer out to other cities. I mean, it was pretty intense, and they would pay their workers with the beer, which is pretty badass. Could you imagine if we got paid in beer right now? I would totally be all about that.
Yeah, I'm sure your wife would love that too. Like, hey, honey, here's my paycheck. Gagoon.
What's funny is I actually think of
our
money.
Children can't eat.
I think of, they don't need to drink the beer. If I actually think of money in terms of beer, like if I have something going on where I'm like,
how many did I get?
Yes, that's what I do. No, I go like, oh, well, it's going to cost us an extra $120. I think to myself, like, okay, well, $120, crap, that's like X number of cases. Like I envision the number of beers that I'm giving up, and that makes me not want to do that,
Right. Like when your buddy's like, hey, can you help me move? And they give you like 2 cases of beer.
Yeah, well, see, that's a huge plus. And if they were like, I'll give you $100, I'd be less likely.
Yeah,
I'm like 2 cases of beer. All right, let's do it.
So you don't understand how money works.
I'm very, very bad at money. I don't know.
Annabelle needs braces. Do you know how much beer that is?
You're laughing, but that's literally what I think in my head. $4,000. That's like a mountain of beer.
A mountain of beer. Isn't that what Colorado really is?
It is.
It's a mountain of beer.
Back to Colorado.
Back to Colorado. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a break here, and then we'll get to hear the next intro I did with my amazing deep voice that sounds nothing like my voice now. It's time to drink a beer.
What was that guy's name?
Steve.
Steve is awesome, man.
Dude, that guy has an amazing voice. All right, guys. We'll see you in a minute.
And now it's time to drink a beer.
With the magic of time travel, it's been a second for everybody here, or an amazing intro. It's time to drink and drive. I don't know, whatever. But
it's what you just said was even close to accurate.
No, it's time to drink a beer.
There we go.
There it is. I don't know. It's
time to drink and drive. Jeez. What kind of message are we putting out there?
It's time to Dewey. All right. So we are now many minutes in the future here, but just 30 seconds for you fellas and fellowettes.
Fellow.
I want to be very inclusive here, fellows and fellowettes.
T-line.
And we already have poured the first beer. And I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to give Kyle the floor here. Let me know what's up.
So, hey, this is one of our core beers, Anthem. It's an amber ale. I brewed it a couple times. I brewed it and took it to a music festival down in Palm Bay, and it did pretty well down there.
Anthem. So what do we got? You saying amber? Give me more. What do we got? Toasty.
Yeah, solid base malt and then some crystal. Not too malt forward, not too hoppy.
No, it's good. I like it. It's got a good balance to it. Amber ales are hit and miss for me because they tend to be an easy, lighter, anybody can drink it kind of style, which is a good thing. But some ambers tend to push the envelope a little bit for that style, and you get these kind of deeper, heavier, sweeter, toastier, malty flavors. Those are the best ones. Mm-hmm. And this definitely falls in that category.
I was saying,
it's still easy to drink. I mean, it's an amber ale.
But then you got your guys or gals who they do it's damn near just an amber IPA. That's like the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, you get the hoppy ambers.
And
yep, for sure.
I think this one goes, like you said, more towards the maltier kind of nice. It's nice.
That's where I like the style.
That's
where I like to see it.
But the thing I would say, I can definitely drink quite a few of these. I mean, it's not. There's nothing about this that has like like it's too sweet, because that's the problem. I like a sweet beer, but if they get too sweet,
Well, that's the key. Yeah.
So it's like I think
it's that balance.
He hit it in. Like it's. I don't know a better way to
You're
say
saying
it. But
he's right there. It's like
like
he's not here.
This guy. Well, I know. I'm looking at
Yee.
Yee.
That's exactly why I can't drink some British styles. They're just so malt sweet.
Yeah,
I don't remember what the name of it. At World of Beer. I think it was Old Hen on Nitro or
Old
something.
Speckled Hen.
Oh, that one.
I've got some in my fridge.
I couldn't do it. It was like way too.
That's definitely a specific.
But
type.
very specific to
But even
palate.
those, I like
It's a
one.
mild,
I like
yeah.
one of those. But that's it. And that's the problem.
That's it for the day, yeah.
But now you're, as a brewery owner, you don't want people to have just one of those. You want them to have some of those.
Well, I think it depends on the style, though. I mean, I think there's certain beers you're going to want to brew that this isn't going to be a flagship.
it's not
big
it's
seller.
not a crowd pleaser,
This
so
is
to
meant
speak.
for,
It's a
there's,
niche.
There's styles that are meant to only be one, and I think that's okay. But I think an amber ale is supposed to be
exactly. But there are people that,
sessionable.
like
yeah.
I said, they're like, you know what? We're just gonna go extra hoppy, and we'll. Like all you have is an amber IPA, and you're just calling it an amber. And I don't like
an amber pale ale.
Yeah,
basically,
I don't like when they go too far. But this one's.
I mean, I can dig it. I mean, I think that's a good. You can have good beers that have that hop forward amber, but it's personal preference. Obviously,
well,
when
mine's
it
more
comes
of a
down to
naming
it.
convention at that point, because if I see amber ale, I don't want amber pale ale.
Yeah.
That's saying. So if I say, "Oh, an amber ale, let's go for that," I'm like,
It's really a style that has as simple of a beer as it is. It's got a really broad profile potential. I mean, you can have 3 different amber ales, and they can be all completely.
I'll tell you right now, one of the biggest. I lived in St. Louis for a while, as anyone who's ever listened to the show knows, and there's a brand there called Schlafly. So what happened is, because Anheuser-Busch is obviously in St. Louis, Missouri, they have worked towards the slackening of the alcohol laws there. So, believe it or not, in the heart of Anheuser-Busch, I guess now InBev, but in the heart of Budweiser, it's actually very easy to open a brewery, because they've helped.
Yeah, they shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah,
if they didn't,
exactly. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
almost like they're kind of their own worst. But Schlafly is a distant, mind you, but a number 2 in St. Louis. And their flagship is a pale ale, and it's a great pale ale. I mean, it's great. I mean, very similar coloring to this. But yeah, I would say, as far as flavor, it's got a similar flavor profile to that beer, which is honestly like that's the number 2 beer sold in that city.
Yeah.
So move to St. Louis and you're rich, I guess, bro.
That's it.
I guess that's the moral.
I guess
of the
that's
story.
it.
I don't know.
No, so whenever I brew a beer, and I know it's a beer that I can go buy, like, for example, an amber,
Yeah.
I can compare my amber to Fat Tire, Amber Ale. Breckenridge makes a good one.
Yep.
The Avalanche. A couple other ones.
I love the nose on this one, by the way.
Thanks, man.
I mean, like, legitimately, like, that's nice.
Yeah, it is
That's
really
nice.
Thank you.
Very, very malty. Marshmallowy almost.
Is that what you did though? Did you compared it to?
Yeah, I do the same thing for everything. Like when I brewed the treble half, I got my Hefeweizen, I poured it, and I put it aside. And I bought like 2 or 3 other Hefeweizens, poured them out, and I told my friend to mix them up
Yeah,
and see if I could find mine.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. So
that's great. Yeah, we used to
And,
do.
and you know
same
the best
thing,
part,
yeah.
because the way you did that?
It's the best way to test it.
That's a business expense.
yeah.
Write it off.
I'm gonna go to Publix and write this off. That's a tax write-off right there. Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah! It's
Just write it off.
one of the only businesses where you can write off alcohol.
You know another business where you can write off alcohol?
What?
The one I'm doing right now.
Ew.
Like, literally, I talk about beer.
Yeah,
so
buddy.
if I go to a brewery and drum up business and say, hey, you need to be on my show, and I buy a beer while I'm there, I mean...
Tax write off. Well, I mean, the real trick is to try to make it where you don't have to write it off because it's free. Bam!
I mean, that's today. I'm not paying for this. So, win-win.
Thank you,
Nailed it. Paid in beer.
Is that hat? I'm just like totally changing the subject.
Looks like a hot heart.
Is that supposed to be like the House of Blues logo, kind of?
No,
Is
I
that just a coincidence?
no, it's just a heart that looks like a hop.
Yeah.
I just ironed it on, and then I've been doing my Cicerone studies, so
I saw that.
Put
I was
that
going
on
to ask
there.
you about that later.
Yeah.
Do not put Cicerone on another episode.
I knew you were going to say that.
I had to erase it. I've had to erase Cicerone from 2 separate episodes.
Because of licensing and all that?
No, because it ends up being 25 minutes of...
Oh, okay. It's not like Cicerone's coming at you like, hey, man, you can't talk about...
I have no problems with it.
Okay,
I think it's very good. I think everything...
I really like talking about it.
And yet he doesn't have a Cicerone certification.
Yeah,
so
they're-
either talk about it, be about it.
Oh, yeah, I've
bro.
never even seen that.
Yeah, House of Blues, their big thing is
see.
It's like a
they've
heart
got
on
the heart
fire.
logo.
Yeah.
And I just know that music is a theme, so I don't know if that was...
That's actually a
Dude,
total coincidence.
If you took that iron on and you added flames behind it, you'd be
That
adding
would-
that music
that
element.
would be
Because
it.
that's a pretty dope hat to begin
Thanks,
with.
man.
I like it. Yeah.
So once again, this is called
Anthem.
Anthem.
Do you know the band Less Than Jake? I'm chewing pretzels right now.
See? This is what he does.
They have a great album called Anthem. And they have a huge brass section because they're a ska band.
Yep.
There's another connection.
Do you have any...
You could have them. You
I love
could,
ska bands, man.
and they're from
Great
Florida
light.
too.
Do you have any Less Than Jake records over there?
Yeah, of course.
Well, then we'll put them on afterwards, and yeah,
We should.
we'll work on. That'll be for the after party.
After party.
party.
Crank it up, pour it down.
Listeners, you're not invited.
3 dudes.
Actually, you are invited if you can get here.
3 dudes does not a party make.
3 dudes does not a party make. Accurate. All right, I'm ready for the next one.
Cool.
On to the next one.
So this next one is Old Man's Money. And it's...
Can you rely on that?
You can rely on this beer. You can rely on this one. It's a oatmeal pale ale. And the reason I decided to pick that was because I feel like oatmeal
Sounds like old man. No, I'm just kidding.
isn't really used as much as I think it should be. Like,
Yeah, I
With stouts.
agree.
so you go and you get an oatmeal beer. What's it going to be? It's usually an oatmeal stout.
Yeah,
Yep.
specifically.
So I feel like the world of craft beer could benefit from maybe expanding on certain ingredients and styles that way, developing new styles.
I love that.
And maybe
idea.
not
It's a-
saturating some of the styles that they've already eaten to death.
Well,
Don't get me wrong, I'm a hophead, literally. There's a hop on my hat, but there's only so many IPAs that you can
There
drink
is.
in one day. And I love IPAs. I love all the breweries that make IPAs and all that, but
Agreed.
you got to kind of expand your horizons a little bit, in my opinion.
I think that one of the unique things that you can get from going to local breweries is, you'll hit so many that'll have the same kind of general styles, which is great. I mean, I want to have an IPA every time I go to a brewery usually. But when you get a brewery that has a lot of the like deeper, heavier, darker, more flavorful beers, they're not as popular, but it's like those are usually the ones that I end up being most impressed
they're
by.
so underrepresented out in the
They are.
main market.
in the commercial world,
It's like-
they are. Well, that's why you don't see them as often.
But like right now, if I go to Publix and I go, oh, what do they have in the craft beer section? They're gonna have High Life for sure.
Yep.
Which they're not gonna have Maduro. The last one I went, they didn't have Maduro, so you don't even get like
Maduro's
the brown-
gotten less popular. Yeah.
But you can find Maduro.
everybody wants
but
everybody
it's
wants the
harder.
IPA. Yeah, the
And
IPA.
it's nothing wrong with the IPAs.
I mean, High Life's a great beer.
Did you guys hear me just say there's nothing wrong with an IPA? I mean, look,
You said it.
You've grown so much.
You said it right there.
Just since the beginning of me doing this show, I've become a different man.
He was not an IPA guy at the beginning.
And I'm not an IPA guy, but I do find myself ordering one
To me,
if I
to
go to a
me,
place and that's what.
you've got two kinds of people. You have people who are into IPAs right off the bat. They become
And wrong
hotheads.
people.
No,
sorry,
and
go ahead.
then you have people who think they don't like them, but if they drink them long enough, they're going to grow. a
It turned
taste.
into...
Yeah,
IPAs.
anybody can get into IPAs. Anybody.
You know what? We're gonna go back to Wayne's World with this. It's like a new pair of underwear. At first it's constrictive, then after a while it just becomes a part of you. That's the way I was with IPAs.
I love it.
I mean, does it not really sum it up pretty good?
It's
like,
a great phrase.
It's like a new pair of underwear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
IPAs
But-
for me were a new pair of underwear.
I was one of those people that really just dove into the... Like, as soon as I had an IPA, I was all in.
No, I was the opposite. I
Yeah.
was like when I first had an IPA, I was Too Hearted Ale, Bell's Too Hearted Ale, which is one of my favorite beers now.
And I believe the term he used is it tasted like poison.
It tasted like poison. Me and Matt and Billy, we all
Man, Billy.
We all tried it together, and I don't think any of us could finish it.
From the Flying Corkscrew.
But from the Flying, how do you remember all that?
Dude,
Jeez.
I'm telling you, I edit all these episodes. I
It's like
wasn't
15, 20 years ago
and
when that happened.
I didn't even know him, but like literally because I do all of
So
the editing of all this. I know these. It's almost like I
You know all the stories. It's almost like you were there.
But like really, as far as memory, because you were there, but it's been a decade or more, so it's faded in your mind.
Way more than a decade.
But because I've listened to it in the last year,
It's fresh for you.
so it's like it's almost like
The Flying Corkscrew.
it's almost
Wait,
like
do you
I was
remember-
there 15 years ago.
Do you remember who the owner of Flying Corkscrew?
I know what he looks like. He was a short, heavier fellow with gray hair.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
I don't know his name. I never like knew him.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, Kyle.
That was the first place to get any sort of like good beer downtown.
It was the only place, retail wise. Yeah, you couldn't get craft beer anywhere. That was
Brevard's come a long way,
long
you
time
know.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
Thank God.
Thank God.
But dude, I'm with you, man. I like this idea where you're like, oatmeal. Everyone's like, anybody who's into craft beer, oatmeal is meant for stouts.
I'm more
It's
of a,
not, though.
I'm more of a
It's-
grits fella.
It's an ingredient.
Can we do something there?
There's this
grits-
whole grits debate among my friends. Like, my mom's from Alabama, and I can eat grits for breakfast every day if I wanted to. Every day. But then I talk to some people, and it's like, oh, yeah, you want some grits? And they're like, Kyle, no, grits are disgusting, blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's like that meme that, I got that a lot in high school, the whole South Park thing. 'Cause- God damn it, Kyle, you Kyle.
Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. I don't know how I haven't thought of that.
But, and it's like that Captain America Civil War meme where it's like you got Tony Stark on the one thing and it's like grits, and then Captain America's like no grits, and then it's Civil War.
I don't know. I feel like Captain America should have been grits. I feel like he would have been grits. He's
more,
Old school. Now, like right off the bat, the second I take a sip, I mean, what oatmeal does, what oats do to your beer is it makes it smooth, right?
Yeah.
It gives it a different body. Isn't that the main reason you put in there, right?
Yeah, it's one of those adjuncts that you're not gonna get any like fermentable sugars off of.
I think what he's saying is he likes your body.
Ew.
I've been working on it for 29 good years, buddy.
So this is a pale ale, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
And I
mean,
have plans to do like an oatmeal IPA, an oatmeal,
that's great.
stuff like that.
You have so many different things that you expect when you have a different style of beer, when you have a specific style of beer. And that's important. You want to have a defined style and you want it you want to know what you're getting into. But the point of craft beer to me, you have all these definitions. This is the volume for the brewery and blah, 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 blah. It's all garbage to me. The only real definition to me is you're doing new things. You're trying to make something that somebody hasn't done before. And that's hard to do in 2021 because
You're
much.
saying bureaucracy has nothing to do with craft beer in your mind.
Absolutely. Bureaucracy has nothing to do with it.
I would agree. Yeah, no, I
Bureaucracy.
I don't know. Bureaucracy is good, right? Beer.
Bureaucracy makes more sense.
It's hard to say. I mean, it sounds like bureaucracy, but it's just harder to say. Especially after you've had some brewer. I was at the brewery.
Oh no, Joe! You can call it whatever you want at this point. I don't even care.
Beers beats Battlestar Galactica.
Oh my god, that was one of the names.
Beers.
What was the actual name you had though?
Oh,
It was
I don't
so.
even remember.
It was one of the ones I was laughing
Yeah.
at. It was.
Damn,
it
I
was
remember.
brews, beer, beats, bears,
Battlestar.
Battle, and then you said
Did you use-
Battlestar Hop
Galactica, yeah.
That was so funny.
I also have an intention for a beat saison identity theft because it's not a joke, people. Millions of people are affected every year.
That's true.
I feel like there's a Beats by Dre.
Did you actually make one with beats?
I'm working on it.
Dude, I love it. That's great.
I'm working on it. But no. So my intention.
I feel like Borscht should be in the name there.
I like
too.
this Kyle guy.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Where did I
You know-
dig this? I don't even know where I took this guy up from. Oh, you know what? Thanks a lot, Facebook, for your advertisements. They work.
Fetch a book.
That's literally how I got in touch with this guy. Was Facebook advertisements, and it was like Main Vest. I was like, what the hell is that? And it was like brewery, Melbourne. Oh, hold on.
Wow,
Brewery,
really? That's how you found out about all
I
this?
swear to God, yeah.
And then he sent me a message, and yeah.
And I was like, hey, new brewery in Melbourne. He's
Who
like,
dis?
what? Newfound who dis?
Well, as soon as I heard that it was actually going to be in Melbourne itself, I'm like,
Yeah.
thank God. Like, how is that not happening?
And I was like,
more?
we need to do this.
Everybody's
we
outside.
need to get this going. So
Facebook.
actually, thank you, Mark Zuckerberg. Winklevoss twins?
No, I'm
like,
not a big
who do
fan.
I think?
Nope, nobody. It was a coincidence.
The algorithm.
Thank you, the universe.
The algorithm.
Thanks, beep bop boop bop.
There's almost like
Thanks, computer.
a little
Words.
fruity finish.
It's
to
got
it.
some esters into it because I
like that.
The Kveik yeast that I used.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty solid on
Now let's for the layman's. The word you just used was,
Kveik,
and that is
a Norwegian yeast that was just discovered in the past few years and has become very popular.
there you go.
Especially when people can't temperature control or they have to ferment at higher temperatures.
How does it deal with temperature differently than the typical yeast you use?
So when in my old living conditions, I used to be able to ferment at around 70 degrees.
Yep.
So that was good for like all my ales. I couldn't use any lager yeast yet.
Yeah.
But my new living conditions, I cannot ferment under 80 degrees. So,
Not.
cannot.
Thou shalt not.
Thou shalt not.
Are you like at my grandparents' house? Because like
Wait, why
they
can't
keep
you-
it like 81 at their
Yeah.
house.
Why can't you ferment under 80
Just
degrees?
space and garage.
Oh,
you know.
because it's outside.
Yeah. And so the Kveik yeast allows me to keep brewing and fermenting and not really have...
So you actually fermented this over 80 degrees?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh
That's
my
crazy.
All three of these.
Now I
Wow, that last one too?
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
especially this one. I really want to try this one at a lower temperature and see what's what.
You mean fermented or drink?
Yeah, fermented.
I was just
I
saying,
mean, like,
it was
no,
pretty
that's
cold,
easy.
Joe.
No, yeah, I mean, it's
I
still
mean,
pretty
we
good.
can
You
go...
can put it in the freezer
Yeah.
if you want it cold.
No, I mean just in the future because I love the flavor, but I know that they've
Well, that's the whole thing, right? You know, you ferment it at 70 degrees and you're going to get a different beer.
well, that's what I'm saying. It's
You
like,
don't know how different it's going to
like
be.
I want to
to
see. I just want to do the old the Pepsi challenge kind of thing, but this one because it's got some character to it. Like I really like this one. Like the nose doesn't match the mouth exact. Like it, I don't know. I honestly, legitimately, it's got some really good smells to it, and then it's got some totally different flavors. None of them are bad, by the way. I'm just when I use the word different, there's no negative connotation. I'm literally like, it has a very I don't know. Damn, I gotta smell it.
There's some complexity. To the
Yeah,
flavor.
I don't exactly. It's very complex. I don't know the right words.
I think it's pretty cool that I mean you didn't put anything else in it. There's no adjuncts. It's got
Besides oats.
besides oats.
No,
it's got a fruity flavor to it without any fruit.
No, what's
added
the
to
what's
it.
the
Those esters,
what are
yeah.
those the ones the oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart. The
Chicken McNuggets.
no.
Oh.
It's one of the fruits that you can get dehydrated like a prune, but what's the lighter one? It's orange in color. It's not a tangerine, but
Nectarine?
no, it's just something you could get as a fruit, but it almost has that flavor.
Apricot. You're thinking of apricot.
Apricot. Thank
Yes.
you.
Damn
oh
right.
my god.
I knew it when you said that.
I was like, but it's like
yes,
yeah.
it's got yes. I agree.
It's
with
like
you.
an apricot right on the nose, like, oh my god, like
That's what's so great about beer. I got into a conversation. A friend of mine, Joe,
and just there are
That's
no,
not
there,
this
there
Joe.
are no apricots in this.
Not at all.
Okay.
a different Joe than this one, Joe Rodriguez, a friend of mine.
Never heard of him.
He
I actually do know that.
he's a chef, and it's funny to me because he's so big into food, and I mean, I could just sit there and listen to him talk about food for hours because he has so much great insight, and you know, he's got a culinary degree and all that stuff. But he's not into beer at all, and
Weirdly not into beer.
the past year or so, I've like kind of gotten him to try different stuff and start to expand his horizons. And alcohol in general is something he's just never been into. And I'm like, you don't understand. As a chef, the amount of flavor you get from these four ingredients is just it's mind boggling. I'm like, you got to stop thinking of it as this is beer and this is food. Beer is food. It's part of food, you know, and there's just like a lot going on. And this beer that we're drinking right now is just such a great example of how you can get, you know, you're talking
Dude,
about apricot.
thank God I couldn't think of the dang thing, but yeah, it's 100%.
And yeah,
If you said, oh yeah, I put apricots in there, I'd be like, yep, you did put
yeah, I
apricots
can taste
in.
the apricots. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's there. It's like crazy.
and we're talking about some grains. We're talking about hops and yeast and water. That's it. That's all that's in it.
Magic. Don't forget the magic.
magic.
Just a
It's
little,
a
little
sprinkle
bit of
part.
magic.
Yep.
Are you saying Kyle put some of his own magic in there?
Shut up.
I don't-
No, that's in.
It's a very creamy beer.
No, but I mean,
Dear
but
God.
all joking aside, think apricot. when you pour that in. Like,
No, yeah, I definitely get apricot. Yeah, absolutely. Very good.
I can't believe I had such a brain fart. I couldn't remember what an apricot is. That killed me.
I
Couldn't point to one. It's all right.
I mean, I can point to a dehydrated one in a fruit mix, like a trail mix. Like that's what I'm thinking of specifically. Yeah.
Apricot's a very popular dried fruit. Used to get it at Lucky's before they went out of business.
You ever go to Dijon's?
No, I was just talking about them yesterday.
Bro.
I got to go there. The steakhouse.
It's like a whole bunch of Lucky's employees got their severances and opened that place over Beachside.
Really?
Yeah, I went over there.
It's right on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, dope
Like-
place. Nice rooftop
It's right where
bar.
that big park is.
It used to be City Tropics.
Oh yeah, I drove past it the other day.
Oh, word?
Word.
I highly recommend
It's
it.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super
All
dope.
But yeah, man, dude, the oats, really cool idea. This would be a great beer to put on nitro, which is
It would be.
which is really cool because pale ales
It'd be so creamy.
Pale ales
Oh
are
my
not
gosh.
a
Not
typical style that you think to put on.
I wouldn't describe myself as conventional.
Well, that's
Yeah,
you definitely
it's-
need to do it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's smooth, and that's what oats do to your beer. Really cool. I like
it-
this.
it's still
This is innovative. It's
It's
innovative
it's
beer.
still blowing my mind right now with like, I didn't know what an apricot was
Joe
apparently,
doesn't,
but
Joe doesn't have much of a mind to begin with, so
yeah,
doesn't say-
exactly.
But it is really
I can't
good.
argue, but like, I see nothing. Man, I can't believe that I smell so much. Like to me, it is full on apricot. It's like ridiculous apricot
you are
for not having a drop of
really
apricot.
focusing on this apricot thing, aren't you,
Bro.
buddy?
I'm like,
You know what, Joe? You know what I'm going to do, Joe?
he's gonna make me an apricot.
I'm going to make you an apricot beer. I think that was your long game sell the whole time.
Well,
And
This is before you even got
yeah,
here.
hats off,
today.
dude. This was your whole plan.
my
This
hat
was
is
your
sitting
whole
over here,
plan.
so-
Yeah.
You know what's
Alright.
funny too? It's not apricot. It's literally dried apricot. Because it's got that
100%.
it's got that
It is
concentrated
dried.
sweetness.
It's
Yeah,
dried apricot
Yeah, it really is.
specifically. Well, that's why I said prunes because I know it was the
yeah, but it's not
specifically the dry-
that kind of sweetness.
But I
though.
meant specifically dried,
Yeah. Yep.
and I just couldn't remember the name.
Well, I'm excited about the next one. You 2 for 2, man. Really good.
All right.
Here comes the twofer, or the
This next one's probably gonna suck.
Man, I wish I could have brought the Hefeweizen for you guys. Jeez.
I do too.
Is this gonna be the
name? Come on.
Oh, yeah. Trouble Hef.
Wait, what? So I want to go over the names again. The first
Sure.
one was Anthem, right?
Anthem. Yep.
What was that last one called?
Old Man's Money.
Oh, yeah. Damn, how to forget that?
You can't rely
Hall
on
and
him
Oates-
remembering the old man's money.
Hall and Oates.
Can't do it.
If you don't know who Hall and Oates are, first
Or
of all,
alternatively, if you don't like who Hall & Oates are,
like my wife,
we have a problem.
Did you know? Did you know, Alaska?
Rich
no.
Girl. By the way, Rich Girl is the song. Look up
Rich
the song.
Girl.
Listen to the song "Rich Girl" by Hall and Oates. That's what the song's name.
But the
He was named after.
but the there was some sort of maybe like a Trader Joe's type company, like something, and they actually had a cereal and they called it Haulin', like I'm hauling oats, and it was a cereal.
Did they get sued?
They definitely got sued.
Oof.
But it was
Oof.
Hall and
Such a
Oates.
great
Like,
name. I
bro, we're
love it.
Hall and Oates. Like, tell me that wouldn't be an amazing name. Like,
That would be
You know what?
amazing.
Love
If
it.
I was either of them, you better believe Hall and Oates would be the name of one of my beers.
You know, the thing is like I feel like if I was Hall or Oates, I'd be like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Keep the name. That's cool.
Once you get to a point where you have
It's gonna promote
so
them,
much-
if anything.
a
And if
claim,
I was John
you should
Oates-
just
Yeah,
let
exactly.
people do stuff. Like,
Who cares
Okay,
at that point?
okay.
Right.
So really quick,
good for you. Thank you for doing this.
if you,
Yes,
In my name.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm honored. Yeah.
Yeah.
if they opened a brewery, I'm just not right now. We don't have. I mean, we can.
If Hall and Oates open a brewery,
If Hall and Oates right now opened a brewery,
please God, one day.
Oh, please. But if they opened a brewery, anyone who's listening, I want to hear names for beer that Hall and Oates Brewery would have.
I like it.
I mean, I feel like
Abandoned lunch.
I mean, there's so many
PB&J
things out there.
PBJ style.
So yeah, if you are listening, because I have ones of fans.
You know what's weird?
they come up with that.
Hall and Oates is one of those bands where Billy Joel's another one. Well, I mean, he's not a band.
I mean, he's
Where you don't really understand how many hits they have until you look up
when you say
I felt the same way
top
about
Hall and
Elton
Oates
John.
songs. Yes, yes, it's another one.
with who?
Elton John. So, with
Elton John's got like a trillion songs.
so
on
many.
it.
Yeah.
So many.
So
And
there's a lot of bands out there.
his
you don't
voice has
realize.
changed so much over his career.
He's so many different
Yeah,
people.
you're right.
And I didn't even realize it until I saw Rocket Man, the movie.
I still haven't watched it.
Bro, you gotta.
It's good. I haven't seen it either.
I watched Bohemian
We're about to watch
Rhapsody.
Rocket
Have you
Man as
seen
soon
that
as
one?
we conclude this
Still haven't seen that either.
podcast. No, but as soon as every song that hit, I was like, wow, that's Elton John.
So the whole
freaking
has
movie.
nothing but Elton John.
You know what's-
know
Yeah.
all of them.
You know what's
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
oh man,
yeah.
I know that song.
That's how Hall & Oates is. I made a Hall & Oates playlist on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 20-something songs. I'm like, I already knew all of these. How did they have that many hits?
Are you doing Sarah Smile right now?
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't help myself. You and your baby hair.
Baby hair.
I'm sorry. That lyric just makes the
Back
song
to Hall &
a
Oates
little
again.
bit different.
What was it? Sarah Smile. Baby hair. So what are we drinking now?
We're drinking
The
Jukebox
third-
IPA.
Jukebox. I like it. So is this a New England IPA? It is hazy.
It is a little hazy.
Is it a Jukebox Hero IPA?
I don't get
No.
the reference.
That's Foreigner. It's a great song.
Just regular
Gym Class
Jukebox.
Hero. I know.
No.
It is a little hazy, but it's not intended to be in New England.
So it's unfiltered though.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Let's see if it sucks or not.
Pressure.
Oh God, it smells. It's got a great.
It smells great.
Yeah.
It doesn't even.
Nose. I mean. Yeah.
I mean, like, forget New England. Like, New England does not have this nose. This has an IPA nose. This doesn't have a New England.
Correct. Yep. It smells hoppy.
This doesn't have a
smell
This doesn't
sweet.
have a Diet Coke nose. This is Coke,
Original
not
Coke.
cocaine, not Coke. Or
Ooh, this is
is
great.
is there cocaine in here? Hold on.
This. This one. I know. I already said this for
This
the
one's
last
called-
beer, but this also tastes like a beer that could do really well on nitro.
It's very nose forward. Like, I was waiting for the hop punch,
Definitely, it's definitely got great a ton of grapefruit.
but I was thinking like it would have like that like punch.
Yeah,
Like,
that
you know, some of
overpowering
them-
No,
bitterness.
it doesn't
yeah.
though. It doesn't. It's
It does not. No,
very hoppy, but
I
it's
feel
not.
like you don't.
It's
this,
not very bitter.
This is a hop
I dry
gateway
hopped
drug.
it. So
yeah. Tell us about
So you
that.
got more- you got
I
more
put
smell-
the
yeah.
hops. I put the hops in the boil like you're supposed to, and I did XYZ in my hop intervals in the boil. But then to have that extra on the nose, but not so much on the afterburner.
Yeah.
I dry hopped it.
So, did you put more hops in the dry hop or more hops in the boil?
More hops in the boil.
Not
There
to-
was more in the
not
boil.
to get
More
too
in the boil.
Not to get too beer nerdy, because I do want to keep this show as beer
Simple.
nerd light. But
Yeah.
what hops do we use?
Warrior and Centennial.
Okay.
I love, dude. Anything with Centennial is always good. Yeah, you've had Founder Centennial before. That's one of my favorite beers. It's so good.
That's a great beer.
This is great though because it's like it really smells like it's going to be a punch in the face, which I do like a punch in the face sometimes. But
My
sometimes
beer
I
packs a
don't.
punch.
You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna release.
Knuckle.
We're gonna release a video after this where I punch Dave in the face.
It's got so much of a citrus character though, which I'm guessing is from the Centennial, and but it's still very smooth. It's very easy drinker.
This is more like what do they call it?
It's definitely an IPA, but
This is more like ruby red grapefruit
Yeah.
versus like that like punch your face grapefruit. Like I don't know if you've ever had.
yeah, you're right. It's like it's got the flavor, but it doesn't have the intense bite that you get from grapefruit.
Like if you've ever had, I remember as a
really
child,
good.
as a child,
3 for 3, man. This is
3 for
great.
3. I'm
as a
feeling
child,
good
when
about
you
this
get
accessory.
when you get grapefruit juice, the one that I had as a kid, it was like so tart. Like as a
I love that, man.
No, it was to me as a child. I was like, what did I do wrong?
I was a weird kid.
This is like orange juice.
What'd
Like
you do wrong?
It's like orange juice turned to a life of crime. it's like that's what like.
It's a
that-
good analogy.
but that's like what happened. That's what grapefruit juice was.
Evil orange.
But then I had like ruby red, and it was like, well, you know, maybe I do a little petty theft here and there, but.
That's a good point. Ruby red grapefruit is sort of like it's like
you know
in
what?
between extreme grapefruit insanity and the nice sweet smooth orange juice.
Yeah.
And this falls into that.
Yeah.
It does have a bite. It's not
But
like,
it-
I mean
but it
every
has-
IPA should have a bite, and it does have a bite, but it's not like
It's a nibble.
It's a nibble.
A nibble.
it's a nibble.
It's not overpowering.
Which, by the way,
No, it's not.
By the way, I don't
really
know.
want to try this on nitro.
You know what?
Any IPA you could put on nitro is
Here's some computer
okay
nerd
in my
things.
book because there's not
Do you-
a lot.
Do you know what a bite is in computer terms?
Yes, I know what a bite is.
Do you know what a bit is?
Yes, I know what a bit is.
So what is a bite?
BYTE.
A byte is what, 100 bits?
Wrong.
1,000
Go ahead.
bits.
Wrong.
10 bits.
Closer.
5 bits?
2.
8 is the number. 8.
It's okay.
Oh,
Sorry,
power, powers of 4.
So one,
Is it really? It's 8?
so 1 bit. You get your bit. Your one little bit.
I've been too metric.
But then you've got.
My guesses. Sorry.
So you've got.
Everything's in tens.
So 8 bits is
yeah,
a byte.
a byte.
So half a byte is a nibble.
So
I'm-
4
I'm-
bits is a nibble?
4
Is
bits.
that actually really in
Four-
computing terms?
4
I've
bits.
never heard that in my life.
4 bits is a nibble. 4 bits is a nibble. Look it up.
And 2 bits is what it costs to get a shave and a haircut.
Shave and a haircut. Yes. Shave and a haircut. Where's your pipes? Damn it.
That was a fake horn.
I know.
That's
That's what I tried.
Knuckle. There we go.
Knuckle.
I just had to go full, little
I
instrument here.
I do want to get into music a little bit since
Sure, go
that's
ahead.
sort of a theme. I want to know what brass heavy
Monkey.
bands you're into.
Oh,
Can't
you know,
name-
Yeah,
if you
no,
can't
I
name
can't.
one,
There's
you know
so
what?
many. There's
You know-
you lose all
no,
credibility.
no.
Okay.
Use your brain. Use your brain for a minute. I gotta do a trumpet set. So you do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
You let his brain's gonna process.
Okay.
Like
I'm gonna pull
one
up my Spotify real
one
quick.
nibble.
Yeah,
I
do
need to
it.
list this out.
One nibble at a time. His brain is gonna figure it out. But
You mean every 4 bits?
yes,
Lucky
So-
Chops is a great one.
Who?
Lucky Chops?
Oh, I don't know them.
What you mean, man?
they're always after me. Lucky Chops.
You almost seemed upset.
Yeah,
I said
Lucky
that.
Chops. They're a New York-based.
Are they a ska band?
There's no vocals,
Oh, cool. All right.
but they play in subways and stuff like that all the time.
Nice. I like that.
I've never been. Okay,
Do they
so
pay Jersey Mike's
I'm already putting it in my Spotify, so I don't
please
forget.
do.
at Firehouse
I
Subs?
don't buy a lot of music.
What other sandwich shops do they play on? I can't.
But I legit went out of my way to buy this album.
Because it was so good.
It slaps.
Have you ever heard of a band called Moon Hooch? You should check them out. So I'll check them out.
All right.
Moon Hooch is and it's the same kind of thing, right? They're a New York based band. They used to play in subways. Somebody heard them playing in a subway and they got some kind of record deal, but they're nuts, man. It's literally 2 saxophone players and a drummer. That's it. That's them. Yep,
Gotcha.
Moon Hooch. And
Dude, I love the saxophone.
really cool. So it's only
I-
saxophone, and the drummer's crazy. He's pretty erratic. Not for everybody, but they're really cool. And they've got like one of these. There's a saxophone called, what is it called? It's like unbelievably low
Like a
tones.
bass?
Yeah, but it's
it's deeper
Lower
than
than
a
baritone?
bass.
lower
Lower
than
than
baritone.
baritone?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's got a name. It starts with the C. Contrabass. That's what it's called. The contrabass. It's this crazy, gigantic saxophone-looking thing. So they do some of their songs. They do. They've got like the regular sax, and they've got the contrabass, and they got the drummer. Dude, it's so and same kind of thing. No lyrics or anything.
That's their bass player.
That's their bass player. Yeah, because there's no guitar. There's no anything. It's just saxophones
Okay.
and drums. That's it.
Young Blood Brass Band,
I don't know them either.
New York.
Damn, I gotta write all these down. I'm from New York, so
Yeah. And then I
Hey, yeah,
follow,
so much good
I'm
music coming out of
walking
New
here.
York.
I follow
Can't you see I'm walking here?
Preservation Hall Jazz Band, all those types.
All right, hold on. I'm writing these down. Wait.
Well, there,
On the air, I'm writing these down.
going kind of mixing this genre with the Hall & Oates. I've been listening to a lot of Steely Dan recently, and oh my, maybe it's just because I'm turning old now. I don't know how that works.
You stop it.
But oh my
Turning
god,
old. You've been old, bro.
bro, you're 6 months younger than me.
40th birthday. I know we're both old. I'm not saying I'm not old.
Oh my god. You got to see Kyle's face right now.
Yeah,
He's like,
Kyle, how old are you?
He's like, I'm with a
29.
bunch of grandpas.
God, could you imagine?
I'm not having an
Go back to
existential crisis
29.
right now. That's
When,
what's happening.
when will you be 30?
I'll be 30 in January.
You don't. You don't.
Yeah.
I feel like guys don't don't have a crisis at 30. A lot of females do. Guys have their.
I don't know. I have a lot of
40.
crises in these knees, boys. Let me tell you.
Bro, all I'm saying is when I get out of bed to go pee for the 3rd time in the morning. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. But like when I get up in the morning, like
How old are you, Joe?
I'm a lot
75.
I'm a lot older than I am.
I remember when they
And I get
first
up and I'm
invented
like-
chocolate.
it's like, I get up and I'm like, okay, Digna's asleep. I'm gonna get up.
I know, dude.
I'm like,
same
what
here,
just
man.
happened, man?
It
sounds like someone poured like some milk
Popcorn
on a toilet bowl full of Rice Krispies.
Bro, you got one of them.
I'm like,
Did you ever?
shut up, dude.
There was this SNL skit back in the day. It was Jim Brewer.
no.
Jim Brewer used to do it was a recurring skit. It was the Joe Pesci show. Do you remember that?
Yes.
The Joe Pesci. You remember that? And he did an episode where he had who was it that he had on there? Jimmy Stewart. It wasn't really Jimmy Stewart. It was Jim Carrey playing. It was such a ridiculous skit. So you got Jim Brewer playing Joe Pesci. You have Jim Carrey playing Jimmy Stewart. And then you had somebody else playing Jim Carrey. And they were all on the show together. The whole reason
Way too meta for me.
Dude, it was you should look it up. It's such a funny skit. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing it up is because there was one line that...
Why is it Joe Pesci?
It was the Joe Pesci show.
But I mean, so you've got Jim Carrey...
Carrey.
But you've got Jimmy Brewer
Stewart
playing... I feel like there should be some sort of a Jim show.
There's a lot of Jims going on, actually. You're right.
That's what I'm saying, like...
Jimmy Stewart, Jim Carrey, Jim Brewer playing Joe Pesci.
Right.
Anyway, point of the story is one of the lines, I say it all the time. He goes, Jim Carrey's playing Jimmy Stewart and
Let's hear your Jimmy Stewart. Do it.
My Jimmy Stewart. My. He says something like,
I was never born.
He says something about age or whatever Joe Pesci does, and then Jimmy Stewart goes, damn it! I'm gonna mess up the line.
Well, you totally nailed this radio show.
He goes. Oh yeah. He says you're only as old as you feel, and then he goes, if I'm as old as I feel, then I died 12 years ago, or something like that. I say it to people all the time. That I died 12 years ago.
I died 12 years ago.
It's a long tangent.
Wow.
For terrible.
Well, I don't feel like I died 12 years ago.
Jim Carrey delivered the line way better than I did. I'm gonna drink this beer now.
And just like that, the show has been killed.
We're
trying to.
Do you have
Sorry,
a
guys.
soundboard?
Hey, I'm a
wait.
transformist. I'll just kick things back up.
Wait,
I got you.
wait. Were you trying to do
got you.
Do
crickets?
we have to cut that whole entire section?
Were you trying to do crickets?
Was that better?
Yeah, we're going to the non.
Kyle.
non the
I can't whistle, man. I'm trying.
Kyle can't whistle.
I'm trying.
Damn it, Joe!
Wow, Joe, that's actually
Freaking
really
amazing crickets.
Holy shit!
He doesn't need a soundboard.
Wow.
And you know what? Because I can tell good jokes, I don't need crickets either.
Wow!
And then he threw it on the ground.
It's not my birthday.
Which it is not.
It's not. His birthday's in June.
So,
Damn.
once again,
All right, yeah.
I don't do scales from 1 to anything.
Yep.
You
Because
can't count
because
10. That's the problem.
well, here's my thing. What if tomorrow I had a beer and I'd never had a beer before, and I gave it a scale of 1 to 10. I gave it a 10. I'm like, this is the best beer I've ever had, but I've never had a beer before, but it's good.
The thing.
But then I taste another beer one day. I'm like, it's better than that beer that I gave a 10.
That's a 10. That old 10 was really a 7.
And then
Yeah.
so now I'm seeing that my logic is flawed, and so
it's a pointless. It's a pointless.
it's
exercise.
a pointless point system.
I'm on board.
So what I say is, you know what? Should you drink this beer? Absolutely.
Yeah,
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Every single one of these beers has been very well made. It's been very well thought through, and has the apricots, or also known as prunes that aren't prunes, that are in trail mix. Oh man.
I would say we got 3 beers here. To me, the first one was it was not unique, but it was
unique New York.
It was
unique.
It was on point for the style. And then you've got a pale ale and an IPA that were not on point for the style. They were unique. And I think that's good because, you know, when I go to a brewery, I want to be able to experience both of those two things. You know, you want to have beers where you're like, man, this nailed it. You want to have beers where you're like, wow, this was different than I expected.
Like this is one of those few times, especially
we got both of those
like you
things,
said
yeah.
with the first beer specifically, to say that it's typical means true to style, which means good.
Yeah, and
like I say, it's typical. Well, so that's bad. Like no, that means like you were trying to hit the middle of the target. And you hit the middle of the target, and so you did the right thing.
And that style is the type of style where you would probably most likely want it to be true to style.
That's one of those gateway.
I don't know how many. I don't know how many
beers.
experimental ambers I've had before. I mean, somebody should try that. I guess maybe, but
I feel like
that's a style you want to rely on.
Yeah,
you know?
I feel like if you're trying to recruit the masses into craft beer,
yeah, you don't want to
and
you don't want to mess them up with an amber.
But like, here you go, and you're like, why did you poison me?
Well, you're gonna go. You're the guy who's not into this stuff, and you go with your buddy who is into this stuff, and you go to a new brewery. So you be like, you know what? Let's order you an amber because that's something that
it's safe.
And then they drink it, and it's got like some skunk oil in it or something. They're gonna be like, what the hell is this?
And who harvested that skunk oil? That's my question.
It's a difficult job.
I mean, beers can go skunky on their own, but you're harvesting skunk oil.
Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew. Is that just like a mainstream beer that you left out in the sun?
After he said it, he made this face and took a sip. It was like, damn straight, I just came up with that.
All right.
I don't care what you think.
I'm going to go shoot a Lincoln commercial. All right.
Lincoln commercial.
I love me them Lincolns.
I don't care.
I think a lot of my brewing is I need to brew something that's familiar to people, so the amber. Mm-hmm. And then also adventurous. So it's like, you go in there and you know what you're ordering, but also at the same time I was like, oh man, I want to kind of try that. That sounds like really cool,
Yeah.
So here's my question.
Definitely.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be answered, but so here we are, because time moves the way time moves, but people move.
Does it though?
People move differently.
I just watched the show Dark and
yes.
moved really
so
weird.
yes, a group of people though, like as a group of people, we move very slowly. Like it's like moving that ship out of the canal.
Yeah,
right.
That meme that
exactly.
I have no idea what's going on.
I would say roughly 24 hours a day.
Yeah. So
general speed most people move,
give or take. So my thing is as a society, we move very slowly in our flavors and our acceptance of craft beer and all those kind of things. So 20 years from now, 30 years from now, whatever, if you say, I've got a mango habanero IPA that is somehow pitch black, you're like, what? Today you'd be like, what is that? Mango, it has the word pale right in it. How's it pitch black? But 20 years, 30 years from now, that might just be mainstream. That's the way it is. Well,
so I mean, craft beer in general compared to 50 years ago, anything is
exactly. So I feel like we're like in this transition period, but we're moving slowly. Yeah. So like when he talks about his pepper beer, he said it was a little too peppered. It was, and it happens. You know what? I say it's not a science, but I guess it kind of is. But whatever. It's more. It's more of an whatever. It's still subjective, because even if you make what's quote unquote the perfect beer, it's still subjective. It is.
It's always subjective.
If you could mathematically make a perfect beer, someone's gonna be like, I don't like it.
Yep.
The end.
Yeah.
And that's just one of those things. Yeah. Like
it's like a bullet hitting a bullet in the air. If I shoot a bullet, you hit a bullet. Are they gonna intersect? Probably not. But like, it's really hard to every time bullet hit a bullet.
You're never
exactly. So it's like in those cases, but eventually things that are considered like so weird and so out in left field, that's going to be the norm. Yeah. So I feel like,
well, IPAs were left field 40 years ago.
But the best thing is, hundreds of years ago, they were mainstream for thousands upon thousands of people.
That's how things change.
So that's like that's like so crazy how. So you know what? Well, hopefully I'll be here in 20 years, 30 years, and hopefully
we're drinking a pitch black mango habanero beer.
And I'll have
and it'll be a pale ale.
My pitch pale ale. My pitch black mango habanero pale ale.
My unpale pale ale. Unpale pale ale. Damn it! Make that a beer.
Damn it!
Unpale pale. Unpale pale.
You can take that. I won't sue you.
Cool.
Unpale pale ale.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that really has to do with trend dynamics.
Yes, that's a huge part of it.
Trend dynamics. And you do your marketplace research and see what's popular, what people are drinking versus what people are willing to try, stuff like that.
So I feel like if I walk into Brass Knuckle once it's opened, when it opens, very soon on Wickham Road maybe, or possibly on Palm Bay Road, because that would be so much better for me because I live in Palm Bay.
Better for everybody.
I mean, Palm Bay Road would be better for me. I love it.
Cough.
I want to walk
There's
there and
some
walk
guy
back.
in Seattle listening to this. It's like, what the hell?
Why are they arguing?
Please
It's
move
like
on.
on the map they're an inch apart, so whatever. But yeah, I mean, when we go there, I think it'd be really cool, like you've done some of your true to style, but like, don't be afraid to play with it. Not that I have the guidance from me, the guy who's a nobody, is brew what everyone's gonna drink, but don't be afraid to experiment.
Why does it sound like something a sex ed person would say? Don't be afraid to play with it.
I feel like you just put a condom on a banana, but I'm not sure. No, but I understand what you're saying, man. Like,
You don't want to be infected with potassium.
That's not good.
definitely not good for your heart. But the two beers that I brewed before these three were an experimental IPA that I got French hops for.
French hops, interesting.
Yeah, from Yakima Valley. I don't
What's
know.
it called?
Probably not saying it right.
Do you remember what that?
Mistral.
Mistral. I never heard of that.
Yeah. So I used a lot of Mistral hops.
Where'd you get that from?
Yakima Valley.
Did you like order online or something?
Yep.
That's cool.
Ba-ba.
You just did the research and found it?
Yep.
Nice. I like it.
And I've been researching a lot of like French ingredients and stuff like that. So
Hell yeah. Dude, France is like this amazing brewing center
and it's
that
really
nobody
slept on.
taps into
It's
at
really
all.
slept on because
Listen to our Coasters episode. Go ahead.
it's really slept on. But the point of that was
Agreed.
I'm experimenting with ingredients from other areas and trying to incorporate a lot of things. And I also brewed a farmhouse stout.
Farmhouse Stout?
Yes.
I like it.
Before these three beers. And it turned out really good. It was roasty. It was like kind of
Yeah.
a little funky, but not too like, oh, what is this going on? You know?
You need to have a little funk if it's got the word farmhouse.
Exactly. It had just the right amount of funk and just the right amount
Different kind of funk.
of.
What? It doesn't have that in it.
Yeah, I was trying to. Yeah.
Ruining Kyle's sentence. Completely destroyed.
Well, we
I was
want
trying
the
to time
funk.
it, you know. We
Gotta have
want
them.
the funk. Bow.
So, question:
Answer.
You are going to be. Well, it's not a question. It's more of a statement, I guess. So next week, I'm not going to have this episode out. So weeks ago, I'm trying to do this for the future. You had an event at a record store.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me about that event? Now that it's not happened yet, but now you're listening to this, it has happened.
You're freaking me out, bro. I feel like I should be.
It's like Inception, right?
Yeah,
I feel like I should be
I feel like
smoking
I'm
weed,
on
not drinking beer.
Doctor Who right now. So time.
Or is it Doctor Whom? I don't know.
Well,
Depends on how you use him.
if
Whom
this gets
or
released
her.
before the 3rd,
Dude,
Probably not.
not
I'm
gonna
having a
happen.
April
tasting
3rd,
event
2021.
at a record store in Midtown Melbourne. And
What's the name of that place?
Savvy, Savvy,
Ah,
Vinyl Records.
you savvy.
Yasabe.
Vinyl records have gotten quite popular,
The sales have gone up
which is great. I'm big into vinyl, so
super dope.
makes me happy.
But
I'm more of a
so-
nylon man, but whatever.
So I'm doing a tasting event there on the 3rd, and if Futurist is talking about it, then it went really well.
Is that like a brew event with other vendors, or are you the only brewer?
I'm the only
So what?
sole purpose.
Oh, no way.
I talked to the record store owner. I was like, hey, I want to do a tasting event. How do you feel about that?
And what beers
That's
did you bring
cool,
there?
man.
These three.
Nice.
What?
You're gonna have 'em- you're gonna
it's
have
called a
'em-
sneak peek for
Sneak
us.
peek.
Are you going to have them on kegs, or are they going to be?
Yes. I'm going to haul all the kegs down there.
Hell yeah.
He's hauling oats.
Hauling oats. Literally. I'm hauling them oats, boy. No, but I think it's going to be a good time. And then I've been talking to the Mountain Bike Association for Brevard.
Bamba or whatever.
BMBA, yeah.
I'd say Bamba because it looks like Bamba every time I see it.
Bimba.
I know a Bamba guy.
No, but they seem like really cool guys, and I'm talking to them about doing like tasting events at their trail.
Give me a first name of somebody you're talking to. No first name.
The event page.
I would say
Bob.
I would say
Bob.
Jason.
I've talked to Bob's Bikes.
There you go, Bob's Bikes.
Babs Bikes.
I mean, I have to assume his first name is Bob, right?
Probably.
Right?
Most likely.
Please.
He bought it from some guy named Bob. His name is like Steve.
38
For
years
F's sake,
ago.
yeah.
Bob was the guy who opened the business in 1952. It's now Roberto's Bikes. So it's kind of back to Bob.
He died in the
Little
70s.
No, but they seem like good people. I'm gonna do some tasting events at their.
Well, you know
events.
what? The guys, not that I have an in or anything like that, but yeah, I do know somebody in that group, and And Dave's all sorts of friends with other breweries around here. He even has a freaking tap handle of one of the local breweries. A tap handle you can't buy even if you try it. So this guy knows people.
Wait, which one? I've got a few of those, I think.
Well, we'll have to go look at them after this. And show done.
You talking about
Paradolia? Yeah. But yeah.
Pete.
Yeah, if you want to...
Shout out to Pete.
Paradolia is actually... You know why it's called that, right?
Yeah. What?
Genius name.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
genius name.
Yeah, they're great.
I do know why it's called that. You know why? Listen to the last episode I did.
The Paradolia episode?
Yeah. Listen to the Paradolia episode, and if you don't know...
Now you know.
I would say, honestly, out of all the episodes we've done, I think Pete is one of the coolest guys that we've interviewed. He was awesome. I mean, Kyle's okay.
Well, you know what?
I'm actively shrugging right now. I'm like, I thought I was a good time.
Well, the problem is,
Kyle, Pete. You know,
we haven't finished the episode.
All right.
So we can't. So for all we know, you could say some like weird stuff, and you just ruin the episode at the very last second.
I will do my best to not do that.
Let's try not to do that. But don't prove me wrong. Yes, this is a great episode. Amazing beer.
I was like, yeah, man. I mean, except for Irish people, I hate Irish people.
I'm Irish. I can't do it.
I was saying.
I can't do it, Cotton.
I can't do it.
Well, that's Scottish, but whatever. And now we're in trouble.
I'll hit you in the head with a shillelagh.
Nailed it.
There can only be
Thank you very
one.
much. There can only be one.
Once again, Scotland.
I know. I'm saying.
Damn it.
I'm staying on par for the course, good sir.
All right, guys. I think this has probably been one of the best episodes I've ever done at Dave's house.
That's too.
Shut up!
Context.
Bro, I mean, you know what? Take your victories where you can get them.
I had a good win.
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
I had a great win. That was a good
More
time
of a
for
win
me.
than the other episodes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Talked about you.
More of a Winnenbacher over here.
All right, once again, make sure you drink local.
Check out Main Vest.
Main Vest.
We don't have Main Vest.
Mainvest.com.
It's like
Mainvest.com.
It's like if you have a whole bunch of vests in your closet, but you've got like your number one vest.
It's like your main one.
It's your
the
main,
main vest.
the main vest.
Kyle's vest is the main vest.
Go to main.
So wait, real quick. So if you go to mainvest.com, how do we find? Is there a search?
Type in Brass Knuckle Brewing in the search bar. It's the only one.
Bam, there it is.
It's the only brass knuckle.
In fact,
brewing
if
in
you
the entire-
Google Brass Knuckle Brewing, it'll take you right to it.
Perfect. Yeah, look at that. And remember,
Thanks a lot,
if
Google machines.
you don't invest in Brass Knuckle Brewing, you are a piece of garbage. Because they're local. You're literally a piece of garbage, and you should go die.
He's Dave Totaro, and he supports that message.
Oh, was that me that said that?
All right, guys. Well, like I always say at the end, if it wasn't for beer, you wouldn't be here.
This has been a Getting to Know Brews presentation.